of the Challenge Series for the first season. Because, yeah, this thing has a series system as well, or season system as well. You know, it's basically just run through all 6 tiers, and that's a season. I think I've already gone over how that works, but I'll go over it again when the time rolls around. But in the meantime, we still have 4 more races left of this tier. Imola, Valunga, Laguna Seca, and finish off with 2 laps of the full Nordschleife. 12-point lead between Ryan Wolf and Eric Wojciechowski. And it's... I think really the only people that could possibly win the championship from here are like 7th on up. And even then, I think anybody below Gina is stretching it. No, anybody below Darius is stretching it. It's like we have the 2 hypercars, and then we have the like 5 Group C's, and then everything else. I'm the only one that separates the singular Group C that's not in that group. Because I'm ahead of Travis, and Travis has the other 962. Meanwhile, I'm kind of in like the hypercar category, sort of, but I'm nowhere near as hyper as a P1 GTR or a FXXK. Of Imola, and well, I mean, doesn't get any more clear cut than that. And that's also, the starting grid has basically decided that the 787Bs will not really be contending for this. Not from down here, they won't be. It's, the championship leaders are 1, 2, in reverse order, and then 3rd and 4th are like 11th and 15th, respectively. So yeah, I think it's just going to be between those 2 this season, or this tier. Barring immense circumstances in the next 3. This is their race to lose. Eric gets away much better. The Ferrari is focused on acceleration, the McLaren's focused more on top speed. I think acceleration is going to be a little bit more helpful with this track. Slower speed corners. They put Riley in 3rd. I don't know how long she'll stay there, but we may have another kind of mild miracle race from the Corvette driver. Who knows? Dedrick and Ivan have already gotten around her. But she's keeping Travis at bay and, you know, by extension, therefore, Isabella and everyone else. Well, she was. I don't really know if that's going to continue. Not if Travis gets into her, but Travis spins out. Manages to keep the car up. He's stuck on the grass, isn't he? Well, I mean, Travis mostly did that to himself. He's the one that drove into her side and spun out. Spinata. It's now Isabella is Riley's next competition. And behind that is Stephanie, who I imagine will probably pass Isabella before Isabella gets to Riley. So Travis is out of the race. Ryan unable to make much headway on Eric. Ivan making quite a bit of headway towards Schwartz, and as I expected, Isabella has gotten around, or has been passed by Stephanie. Gina's up to 8th now from starting 11th. Still working on the Z4, which should be about now. Just about. Or not. Alrighty then. Now it is done with her floundering about subsided. Now looking super competitive near the front. Ivan's not nearly as close to Didrik as I thought he'd be by now. He's close. Still about 6/10 though. Stephanie is ahead of Riley now. I totally missed that one. Isabel would be next to overtake her, and she's got a big run. So she will do precisely that. Does Gina follow? No. But I don't really think she had to, because now we've got the front straightaway where that Mazda's going to consume the Corvette, assuming she's not a pansy about it. And she isn't. And Hammer will follow Gina around the Corvette. I am on track to score a point. Maybe two, but I have to catch Riley first, and that also means these two don't pass me. I find that unlikely. I don't think I'll even be catching Riley, so everything else goes out the window, because I'm obviously going to get passed by Darius at some point. Maybe not Taylor, it's hard to say, but Darius will absolutely pass me in this Group C car. I thought Ivan would be catching Schwartz, but in the opposite, it's actually Ivan being caught himself by Stephanie. He's extending his lead little by little. Dependent on how quickly Stephanie can dispatch Ivan, she may have enough time to catch Schwartz as well. Gina's gonna try on Isabella's outside for 6th place, but she's got a lot more grip than that old F1 car, and honestly does it pretty easily. I'm still in 10th for the time being, and I am catching Riley steadily. But again, that's catching her is one thing, remaining ahead of Spirelli here is another. Stephanie is on Ivan's taillights now. Doesn't quite find enough space. Ivan locking up under the pressure. Still remained dormant back here. And I have Darius on my rear wings, so I can't really dedicate all of my ability to catching Riley right now. They are side by side as they hit turn 1. Stephanie brakes quite brazenly, but it works, and she is now in 4th. You know, Hammer and Flynn are going to go at it through 1, 2, and 3, but not enough grip in the Lotus to contest that, so off will Hammer go. Still, nothing has happened back here, much to my shock. But if I'm Riley, I'm more concerned about the car behind me, to be perfectly honest. It isn't so much that my vehicle isn't a threat, it's just that the 787B is, well, kind of the third best vehicle in the race. Well, Gina got banged up somewhere, I don't know where that was. Hardly changed much. She's still in 6th. And looking at the lap times, that might be 5th, but I'm not sure. She just ran the fastest lap of the race, I'm pretty sure, though. But is that enough to get to Ivan by the end of this lap? Oh god, she's in 6th on lap 6 of 6. Meanwhile, I'm overtaking Riley for 9th, and Darius just kind of has to spectate it. There's nowhere for him to really go. Now there is, and he will tries. He'll just do. Oh, and you'll miss. And Riley will also miss, and Darius just about keeps the car on the racing surface after that. That was a mess. Gina's, yep, definitely there now. She'll only really have one chance, though. She's got to get a good exit here and try something bold into the chicane. I don't think she'll have that chance, though. Actually, I tell a lie. She'll have another chance later at the final 2 corners. Sauber's low-end acceleration is better, which means that that's not going to happen, though. Eric wins. He's doing everything he possibly can. As I also saw in the distance, Stephanie and Dedrick are very close to each other. Run to the line, and Dedrick is going to hold on to his podium, and Ivan probably going to hold on to 5th. Yeah. Were there another lap, this would have been much more interesting, but sadly not the case. Even despite that, overtook Riley to steal 10th place away from her. And I'll tell you what, this has definitely been a tear to forget for Miyako. I don't know if she's had too many to remember, but this is not one of them. It is now a 9-point lead, and Gina is an entire race's worth of points away from 2nd, 25 off of the leader. Stephanie has snuck her way into 4th in points after Darius only scored a singular point. And despite my best efforts, I've been overtaken in points by Schwartz, who's just scored 10 points. Lunga. The 2 points leaders start on opposite ends of the grid, and Gina may gain some points on Ryan as well, starting 4th. Meaning there could possibly be a 3-way fight for the title after this race if things aligned and Gina actually passed Eric, but I don't think that's going to happen. Not this track. It's also very foggy and very humid, as you can tell, because of the fact that it's 24 degrees Celsius right now on the track temperature and 30 ambient. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, I just know that it is very high. Yeah, unsurprisingly, Eric is just out of here. How'd Gina get rolling? Well, she got ahead of Yoshiro. Taylor is just a lot slower than her, though, so... Or car-wise, anyway. And that's actually, because of that, that's caused, Yoshiro to have a chance at her, and after she clutts around on the curbs a little bit, Yoshiro's back to where she started. Gina didn't seem to appreciate that occurrence, and now she is back to third. How's Ryan getting along? Well, he hasn't gotten far. What happened to you? And he was spun out on turn 1 by Darius. It's as clean of a pit maneuver as you pretty much like it, really. Eric is at the next county line by this point. There's nothing that can be done to stop him. Gina need only hurry up and get ahead of Taylor so she can at least lock down second place. Darius is up to 6th after his little escapade. And, I'm failing. There we go. I would think Gina should have a decent chance into turn 3 at this point. More suitable distance away through these two corners to, have a run at Taylor and not be inhibited too much, but that's what I would have thought anyhow. Gina doesn't seem to know how to take those two turns without hitting the grass, even without Taylor directly in her way. She's gonna go for a late send into this corner, and that should be second place for the Mazda driver. Just to finally. Meanwhile, I have overtaken Yoshiro, and Darius is going to do the same thing. Does he finish that off? Yes. Travis will also follow suit. Or at least he tried, but didn't brake late enough. Even despite lap 1, Hammer is still in a position to where he can at least make a couple of passes. He didn't fall all the way off the back of the grid, he just fell a couple seconds off of it. And here comes the noisiest boy. Gina runs the fastest lap of the race, now that she is unchained via Lotus. And I have been overtaken pretty easily. Guess what happens when Darius actually knows how to make those two corners and not cut the lawn. Doesn't quite have it in him to make Taylor next. I thought about a send, but there was no time. And this is a train for the ages. Stephanie is going to go in on Schwartz. That pass is made pretty easily. More power in the 962 than the 911, so. Ryan is not making much happen right now. Well, when this stuff is happening in front of him, I don't know if I can blame him, but still. Oh, Gina is catching massively fast. She just gained 2 seconds on him that lap and ran a minute 31 lap time. She is on a mission to catch this Ferrari. And, well, I'm not going to say the mission's impossible, because she's basically there. Just better power delivery and somewhat better cornering from this Mazda is allowing her to get there. She'll be in striking distance on the next lap, but she'll only have 1, maybe 2 attempts to take the lead away. Speaking of takeaway, Darius has overtaken Taylor for 3rd. This will be a double podium for Mazda at the very least, assuming Gina doesn't screw up her overtake attempt. Ryan, on the other hand, is still struggling to make his way into the top 10 and bring home any points from this endeavor. A lot of curb hopping. Gina's been abusing the curbs today, but she is definitely in Eric's mirror by now, and Eric doesn't crack under pressure, but that's what he tells me at least. So let's see how true that really is. We have 1 more lap to go. The power of the Ferrari is going to help here and only here, I would say. And even then, it's run out of its purpose. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for a pass on Taylor. That's about as easy as you'd like it. Travis, I think, is going to follow suit. He's just a follower. He just does what the car in front of him does, and passes are pretty much made for him. Even still, he managed to muck that up and get overtaken by Stephanie. What happened here? I missed that completely. I mean, the only person... Well, I mean, yes, but not really. That was Isabella's fault, and also I don't really think she needed to retire from that, but here we are. Gina is running out of chances. The Ferrari's acceleration is going to make this, well, probably harder than she'd have guessed. Yeah, I like to do cheeky moves into this next corner. That's Gina's probably only hope. But she can't do it because the Ferrari has too much acceleration. And then she also hits the curb there, which doesn't help. So, passing zones have run out, and therefore Eric is going to win at Vallelunga. Taylor's going to come in 5th place. And Miyaka's going to manage to finish in not last. That's quite rare, given her track record this tier. She still put up no points so far, and I don't really know if that's going to change anytime soon, but she wasn't last here. The final point will go to Yoshiro. And Hammer apparently passed Riley on that lap, so she ends up last. It is a 4-point lead for Eric now, and both those drivers probably going to exceed 100 points by the end of the championship. And Gina is vaguely relevant, 19 points off the points leader, but it would need a miracle if she were to try and make that happen. A miracle, or for one or more of those two to crash. Which, considering this race is the finale, it's not necessarily impossible, but it's also not impossible that she'll crash. I don't know what's going to happen in that race. The AI are unpredictable at the Nordschleife, and that's why I put it as finale. But onto a very tame track, by comparison, Laguna Seca. I think she got the sheer opposite of that, and Ryan starts just a couple places ahead of Eric. And knowing how Eric's acceleration is, and considering the fact that it's Laguna Seca, the P1 is not going to be terribly comfortable here, I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a very razor's edge type drive for Ryan if he's to succeed. And Travis with the launch of his life. It put Riley starting second, and see if she can defend here better than she did at Imola. Suddenly here comes Ryan, who's already up 2 places and looking for a third. No, he's up 3 places and looking for a 4th. Clearly I underestimated this thing's actual launch potential just because I compared it to Eric. Eric, who is down the order. I don't know why that's the case. Unless he spun the tires, I guess. Obviously had to have been the case. And things just got 1,000 times harder for Eric, because passing on this track, power or otherwise, is not easy to do. Gemini is all up on Travis's business, looking for the lead. He thought about it, but he had last second change of heart. Didn't go for it. The Ferrari's weak cornering speed probably being Eric's detriment right now. I couldn't tell if Taylor there was trying to defend from me or overtake the Z4. I think both. Now the top 3 are all under a very small blanket. And Riley's still holding on to 4th. Hammer's not even that close to her. Well, now he is, because we're on a straightaway, but the road's not even wide enough for a pass. And the leaders are definitely feeling that too. Everyone is really feeling that, to be honest. Eric just doesn't have pace. I don't really know what happened that, well actually no, Schwartz is always back here, just that it looked different because Miyako also is. Even on the track where you're not supposed to be able to pass, Miyako's gone from 5th to 15th in 2 laps, just about. 5th to 14th in 2 laps, same difference really. Eric attempting to get around Miyako has kind of put him out of the range of points, really. Well, unless not Taylor, Isabella and I get into it up there, anyway, then you would have a chance. Which, to be fair, I'm very close to doing that with my braking patterns right now. Still, Riley runs 3rd, and in a weird way is actually getting closer to the lead 3 because of how slow Travis is going right now. He's backing up the whole grid because he can just kind of get away with that at this track. Eric runs the fastest lap, but like, does it matter? It doesn't really seem like it from where he sits. You've got 2 little packs of 3 going here. Cedric tried, and now he shall pay the price, because there goes Stephanie. Hammer was just gonna absolutely slam into Riley trying to defend his spot, but he got it slowed down just enough. Ryan unable to keep up with the handling of the Group C's ahead. Eric still doesn't have much in store for me or Isabella right now, it seems like. He physically could not be closer to us. But his car is just so bad at low speed turns that he doesn't ever get a chance. Yeah, it is basically just packs of 3. Well, this is a pack of 4. And then there's just Dedrick and Miyako kind of existing. Riley has failed to keep Stephanie behind her. Or maybe she hasn't because Stephanie just offed herself in that corner. That's going to really hold up this group of 3. But not enough to where Isabella gets to them. I once again get really close, but no contact. The release of pressure has allowed Riley to actually get her way back near the front 3 for just a moment. Does that matter? No, it doesn't. 100% doesn't matter at this point. There's just no sense of urgency from Eric right now. For that matter, Darius is trying to go for the lead and he's letting off for the corkscrew instead of, you know, trying to make the pass for the win of the race. Imagine what Riley would be able to do if she were driving other cars. If she decided to drive something other than a Corvette. And she's in a Corvette and she's keeping up with the McLaren P1 and like Group C cars. This type of stuff you only see in Gran Turismo. Now, after a race with a lot of wasted potential due to the dynamic of non-human non-human behaviors, this was kind of bleh, if I'm honest. It is a 6-point lead for Ryan now. That has just gone back and forth like a tennis ball. Riley has 20 points. In a car that seemed really honestly set to make maybe 1 or 2 points. Because it's a Tier E car in a Tier S race. One last race of this tier, the Nordschleife, for 2 laps. It'll be like a 15-minute race or something like that.